making me go askew.
Boom!
What up? Welcome to ProPresenter Power Talks, where we talk about ProPresenter with none other than the ProPresenter Poppy himself, Mr.
I feel like
Steven Andrew Dirks.
you're less excited. You're like, we get to talk about ProPresenter again with Steve.
Steve, it's not. Hold on. I may have a lack of energy today, but that's only because last night I celebrated the fact that at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Cody Rhodes got to finish his story by defeating Roman Reigns and becoming the undisputed WWE champion.
What's WrestleMania for those of us who don't know?
WrestleMania is everything. WrestleMania is life. WrestleMania is the sun.
Wow, I guess I must not have life, man. Because I sure as heck don't know what WrestleMania is. I think I saw someone post. I saw someone post about like a belt on their chest with like a big game, and I was like, "Why are you wearing a huge ass belt?" Sorry, huge belt. Like, I don't want to look bigger than I already am. So, but my apologies.
WrestleMania is the biggest wrestling show of the year, and it's the culmination of a lot of the major storylines in the WWE.
It's funny how there's such a between you and me there's such a difference. So there's the wrestle, and I could care less about the wrestling, but I watched the national.
You don't have to say it like
the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship because the South Carolina Gamecocks won the championship.
They won, yes.
So
of course.
It's just funny how
incredible, very moving.
But it's not the story of Cody Rhodes, who So my apologies.
You don't have to apologize to me. You need to apologize to the man
world
himself. Although, Steve, I can't be too upset at you, and I'll tell you why. You once booked a flight for me from. The part of the flight took me from Orlando to Atlanta, and on that flight was none other than the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes himself. So I can't even be mad at you.
That's
because you did something so great for me.
I know. I'm incredible, man. Call me at 1-800-BOOK-TRAVEL, and I'll book your travel and get you on with the star. You're traveling this week, but you're on Southwest, so there probably won't be any stars on that. So, sorry.
Oh, come on, Steve.
Sorry. My apologies.
It's okay.
Sweet. Well, we actually have a request to cover this week.
Yeah.
So someone actually got with us on Facebook. I posted a question last week, and we're going to try to do that here moving forward. Love to see if there's ways that we could serve you, whether it's kids ministry, how you learning from Sheik and how he puts stuff into ProPresenter, or how we can maximize that, or if there's questions you have about other ProPresenter features that I can help with. If there's things like that you're hitting a roadblock on, we'd love this to be an opportunity to make this more of a round table, this like opportunity for people to learn together. So if you have questions, let us know. At the end of this video, we always put up our email that you can shoot questions to if you don't want to post them online. If you want to engage with us online, feel free to DM Steve O. Dirks, or Sheik Mozart, or feel free to jump into our Facebook group as a church ministry leaders powered by Church Visuals. You can jump in the conversation there and ask a question, and we'd love to dialogue with you. So one of the questions that we were asked this past week that I think is asked by a lot of people is, how do I export my presentation to work with other people? But as part of that, I think there's also kind of a couple other like spin-offs to that we're going to kind of cover too, is how do I export my presentation fully as images only so that I can then put them into, Canva or Prezi or whatever, or Keynote. Then there's also, how do I put them into PowerPoint as well? And then how do I also share?
So you're saying export them export them out of ProPresenter,
Hmm.
and then into an application like ProPresenter
Or
or
PowerPoint.
Keynote or
So
Prezi.
today we'll do
Yeah,
PowerPoint, how
right.
to
Sorry,
bring your
PowerPoint. Yeah, yeah.
content out of ProPresenter and then import it in. So where that might be helpful is maybe your church doesn't have PowerPoint on the machine in the kids' room, and so you have to put
Mm.
in, a song show, or you have to put in a PowerPoint presentation. But you want to build all the stuff out on ProPresenter and then export it out. How do I do that?
Oh, okay. So this is great for like worship lyrics
Yeah,
and things like that, Bible verses.
yeah, it's
Okay,
probably
that makes
less
sense.
helpful for worship lyrics because with the way you do songs, you usually don't put a background on every single slide for a song. But for like
Hmm.
presentations, it's very helpful. So if I build a presentation
Okay.
and I want to then export that presentation into another ProPresenter machine or on into a PowerPoint to then go outside to maybe your pastor. I had this happen before where the pastor wanted you to build the notes out and then take it to an offsite church that he was preaching at that
Yeah.
didn't have
Sure.
that didn't have ProPresenter. They had PowerPoint. How do you export that file set out so that he can then have his slides built out by you, but then put into a PowerPoint? So we'll cover a couple
Okay,
of
that
those
makes
things
sense.
today. So the first thing I want to cover, and so Sheik has downloaded ProPresenter on his end. What we're going to do is
I'm ready to
show you
go.
how to export a presentation. So say, for example, the setup here is, um, hey, I've loaded up Sunday's sermon notes, got everything ready to go, and you know what? We decide last minute to shift computers that is going to run the the presentation for Sunday. Or more commonly, you did a Sunday message and your pastor's like, "Man, that was really great. I want to use that again, and I want to use that in another church that has ProPresenter. Can we just export those files out to them to have that file set so that it's all ready to go?" So here's how we would do that. So let's open up Pro. So, for example, you'll see yesterday the sermon set from the church that I help with each week. And
Hmm.
there's a bunch of slides here ready to go. 55 slides, right? So, what you can do,
55 slides.
55
So
slides.
so in this case, you dropped the backgrounds in and images, but the text was created within ProPresenter.
Correct. Now, I did load
Okay.
a font. So, if you have any fonts that are not normal fonts that you've like created and loaded, then you will need to you'll need to like load those fonts into the actual computer. So just know that if you load in a new font, custom font, it'll have to be loaded into the other machine. But if they're all standard fonts, then you shouldn't have to do anything. So if you're using Helvetica or Arial, it'll all come through the way that it's intended. So sermons is here. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the sermon. We're in the sermon presentation. We see it here in our center screen. We're going to hit File. We're going to hit Export. We're going to hit
Mhm.
Presentation Bundle. Sorry, actually, no. You're going to hit Presentation because the bundle is a different thing. I'll show you what that is. So, Presentation. Actually, no. That is correct. Presentation Bundle. So, the Presentation Bundle is going to export the media with the content. So, we'll hit the
It's going to
title.
export the media with
Yeah,
the
which
content.
is what you want. You don't want to just export the presentation because it'll not put any of the media with it. So you actually want to bundle all the media content with the presentation. So desktop, I'm going to title it what I had it titled, and I'm going to hit export, and that will export that out. So now we can go to our desktop. We can see the bundle is here. So what I'm going to do is load this up and send this over to Sheik. I'm
Hmm.
loading this into a Google
Oh,
Drive.
because we're doing ProPresenter to ProPresenter right now.
Yeah, we're doing ProPresenter to ProPresenter right now. So this
Okay.
is going to come to you. I'm loading it up to you, and then I'm going to.
Ooh, this is so exciting.
I know. I don't know why my drive is taking a little bit to load. Stand by. I'm going to relog in. Stand by, guys. Sorry. This is the hardest part, is getting it to the person. So I'm going to relog into my drive, and I'm going to upload the file from my desktop.
Okay. Mm-hmm. How big? Two megabytes.
So this
Two
right now is 2
megabytes.
megabytes. Yeah, it's not huge because I kept the file size of the. I mean, the text is not huge. It's the images.
Right. Yeah,
So
that's true.
if you use the same image over and over again, it shouldn't be a huge file set. So I'm going to copy a link, and I'm going to send this link to Sheik. And Sheik, we're going to have you open it up.
Okay. I'm ready. You're texting it to me? Okay, I got
Yeah, I texted it to
the
you.
text. All right.
So
I am opening it up. Nope, I'm not. Oh, yes, I am. Download. Okay, Steve, now how do you want to do this? You want me to
can you share your screen, see what that looks like?
Yeah. Let me get this downloaded. And okay, let's see. If I share my screen, which of course to do that, I go here and we're going to share ProPresenter. Did that work so far?
No,
Okay.
did not share for some reason. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can switch it to. Uh,
In the meantime, don't forget that you can visit us at churchvisuals.com for all of your church visuals needs because listen, your visuals matter when it comes to communicating the gospel. We're also
Here, try this.
oh, okay.
There you go.
Try what?
So it's working now. So we can see your screen.
Okay, all right. You can see my here.
Yep.
Still says ProPresenter Poppy over here. I apologize for that. All right, I'm gonna open up that bundle. Where did it go? Okay, opening it up. Oh, come on. Opening it up. This moment. Double clicked. Let's see it. Oh, Stephen, Andrew, Dirks. That was so easy.
Look at that. Look at that.
Look at it.
Look at it. Yep. So now click around, make sure it's all loading.
These transitions.
But you should have full. Should be set. Should
Wow.
load up just like I had it. The only thing you might have some errors on is I have in this instance of ProPresenter, the way we're running it, we have some different triggers and commands and stuff we're firing on different screens. That probably is not set up in Sheik's computer, which is a perfect example of if you're sending to another person, they may not have the same exact setup, and so therefore that won't always be the same. So you'll see some errors. That's what these little icons are, the little like almost look like road sign hazards, and that means that there's stuff that's not available on your machine that was triggered on mine.
Oh,
It doesn't prevent you. Yeah, it
macros
doesn't prevent you from clicking on the
are not
slide, using
found.
it. It just is saying that this was on the presentation that came from Steve, and it's therefore not here, so we don't know what to do with this. You can remove those, uh, or you can just leave them, however works. But you'll notice that
Sure.
everything's there. That imported the media assets, so everything that's tied to that presentation, if it was audio, if it was video, would all be brought in to the presentation from that. So that's how you do PowerPoint to PowerPoint transition. Um, sorry,
ProPresenter.
yeah, sorry. ProPresenter transition. Export as a bundle. If you were to just export, now let's try. I'm going to go back to my screen and I'm going to show you what would happen if I just exported the presentation without it being a bundle. What would that do? So I'm going to export. I'm going to export the presentation, and I'm going to set it as desktop, and I'm going to export. And now I'm going to come over here. I'm going to upload the file into here. I'm sending it to you in a sec. One link. This is a quick one, so this won't take long. So here is the link, and we'll show you exactly what the difference is between exporting as a bundle and exporting as just a presentation. So that's coming your way. Let's transition.
Downloading.
Oh, snap. Hold on.
I'll share my screen one more time. The ProPresenter. All right, I'm going to try to fire it up right now.
Okay, hold on one sec.
Right.
Stand by.
Oh, look it.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. I'm having to.
Oh, we're back.
Here you go. Is this you? Did you bring that in?
Not yet.
Okay, gotcha.
But I'm going to right now.
Cool.
The second you tell me to.
Go ahead and roll it on in.
All right. I guess I'll write over, or no, I'll do
new version.
New version, right? And there we go.
So this didn't work, and here's why. Because we did the bundle first, all the media is there. If I were to, let me have you do this. Let me have you go in, Sheik, to your documents.
Okay.
Folder.
Documents here.
Yep. Go to ProPresenter.
And ProPresenter.
Go to Media.
Media. Okay.
Delete all the assets out of the media folder. And then restart Pro. And this will show us what it's really going to be like for someone who is importing it for the first time. Yep. I think we're on your screen. Yeah, because I see errors showing up. So, I see the ProPresenter app. So if you close that out, I'll come back to you for a sec.
So you want me to stop sharing?
Yeah. Well, go ahead and close the app and restart it now that you've deleted the media.
Okay.
You restarted it?
I'm restarting this second.
Okay.
It's still showing me all those. It's still there.
Really?
Yeah.
All the media? Because I only see a few slides interspersed.
Oh no! Is this right? Is this?
Are you sharing your screen?
Are we looking at it the right way?
Are you sharing your screen again?
Let me double check. I am sharing my screen now.
Okay.
See that?
Yep. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So that's the media is not there anymore. I don't see it. So this is what I see. So now import. If you bring that, delete those presentation items. So delete those two items we just imported over on the left side the actual presentations. Yeah, just delete those, and then yep,
these.
Just hit delete. Boom, boom. Okay, and then
Boom,
open up the presentation again. So this will be now as if you're sending it to someone as a presentation, not a bundle, and they open it up. What do you see? All the media is not there.
Correct.
So that's huge because now you send it to someone, they don't have any of the media that you've loaded. So the bundle is key
Yeah.
because the bundle allows you to say, like telling ProPresenter, attach the media with this and send everything to this person the way that I have it. So it's a key aspect of, as you're doing that, making sure that you do that with that situation. So that's loading as a bundle. So export as a bundle to another ProPresenter machine. We'll bring everything in. If you already have all the content on another machine and you're just making a couple of slide changes, you potentially could just send the presentation as a presentation and replace the presentation. But
Sure.
most people probably are going to want to use the bundle export feature. Okay, so that's the first option. The second way that I think is probably the most common that's going to be the case is let's go ahead and share my screen here. And the next common one is going to be wanting to take the content as images. So, hey, I want to export it into another presentation software. I want to use this in PowerPoint, whatever it may be. So, file, export. I can export the slide images. When I do that, it's going to open up a dialog. And you'll notice it says JPEG with slide background color, PNG without slide background color. What this option is if you, for example, have lyrics and you want transparency and you want to use it for something in PowerPoint, but you want it to be transparent to lay over top of the background, you would use the PNG option. But if you want the background to be included with the slide, then you would use the JPEG. You'll also including the media items means it's going to include the media content on the slide with it. So I'll usually keep that activated. So now you'll title it just like you would the other one. So we'll do sermon images, and I'm going to hit export. It's going to export 55 images to my desktop. On a delay. Oh, here you go. Try this. Now we're back. Okay, so I'm exporting the 55 images over. I'm going to now, let's actually show um, my screen here. Yes. So here's this. So I'm going to now move from ProPresenter to using it as another presentation software. So I just exported those images, and you'll now see that I have images here of the presentation for that. So that's all here. That's all set. So now what I can do is I can bring this into PowerPoint, for example, by copying those images. So I've selected all of them, all 55. Command C,
Okay.
Command V. It's going to now copy. Well, that actually did not work the way that I wanted. So let's do, there should be file, import. Done it before. I'm just going to figure out yeah, there's this way. Loading it. Stand by. Interesting.
Could it be insert?
Yeah, it could be insert slides from. I've done it before. I think I know. Hold on, stand by, guys. I think this might be. Well, this is what I did recently. So let's do a new window. Key, this is going to be Keynote. Sorry, Drive. We'll do slides, blank presentation. Now, there's slide. Man, I thought that I had recently found a way, but I don't do it enough. That I think the only way that you can do it is, which is tedious, which is why I don't recommend doing this often. But
Is one by one.
it's just one by one bringing it in, which is really stinking tedious. But it's not meant for. So, so then you can bring in each slide to the presentation. Let's do slide 5. So yeah, you have to
Hmm.
manually drag it in, which is stink.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. This is why it's really not great option, but it's really the option that we have. If someone online knows, maybe you're more not maybe you use ProPresenter to PowerPoint or to Keynote more often than I do. I usually work in ProPresenter and don't really come out of it, or I go between ProPresenter presentations. But bringing in stuff is definitely a pain in the butt, to be honest. Um, you can manually bring it in. I mean, that's obviously better than copying the information over. So it still is helpful because you don't have to retype everything, but you will have to go through and set up each slide with a new image and set that up. So
And
that's
is
not great.
there what's the resolution of the images that you're exporting versus the resolution of this presentation? Is there a way to make it so that you don't have to
Yeah,
manually
you
fit it all as well?
yeah you can go to the slide and it's there's a way to let's see format. Uh, I think it's probably page setup, custom pixels, 1920 by 1080 is how I've done it. So you
Hmm.
might that's how I would do it is you have to change the details in the start um,
Sure.
to apply the proper arrangement to it. Which is also not super helpful because yeah, it doesn't automatically it imports it. It automatically opens up as a 16:9, which that's one thing. That's actually one thing to plug here. That's actually a good thing to plug. I was at a conference recently where someone made a PowerPoint keynote presentation, and they said, "Oh, we just want to show the keynote." And I said, "Okay, well, why don't you go ahead and like export it out for me? Because like in Keynote, you can in PowerPoint, it's very easy to change the presentation size because you can, and I'll show you guys that. It's a little more difficult in Keynote, but in PowerPoint, you can go to, I want to say slideshow. Or maybe it's design. Yeah, it's design. You can change this to a different setup. So you can have this be custom, and you can orient, custom do it how you want it to be. But you can change it to like an on-screen 16 by 10, whatever you need it to be. Okay. So when you come in as a 16 by 9, that's actually not a standard resolution for. I shouldn't say it's not standard. Some churches have 16 by 9. Of the churches that I've done production stuff with, the resolution is 1920 by 1080, which is not a 16 by 9. It's an HD resolution, but it's a smidge. It's a smidge. It's not a widescreen. It's a little bit taller. So it still looks like
Hmm.
an HD version screen, but it's not as tall. It's not. It's a little taller than the 16 by 9. So a lot of production, like Black Magic gear and stuff, runs in that 1920 by 1080 frame. So when you load in a presentation that's not been thought through with that, and if someone just says, "Well, just show my images on screen," then you have letterboxing on the top and the bottom. It doesn't actually fill the screen because some of the production screens and stuff that we're using are the resolution is 1920 by 1080. So I would just encourage you, if you are, bringing your stuff into a live production environment, you might check with the production team to see what resolution the screens are at, and maybe leave your presentation open and have them like re-export it, change the frame, and then have you look at it and make sure it's how you want it. Because 16 by 9 doesn't always guarantee, because 16 by 9 works for a lot of computer screens, and I know that's how the default, PowerPoint sets it up. But I don't know if you've also ever noticed, but if you hook your computer screen up to a regular TV screen, it kind of looks weird. Like it almost, there's a little bit of like stuff that
Right.
happens, and that's because it's not the same resolution. So just because it looks good on your iPad, which is what the guy told me, hey, it looks great on my iPad, but
Sure.
your iPad is not the same orientation and setup as my screen in the room there.
Right.
So it may look great on your
For
iPad,
sure.
but it's letterboxing it in the room because it's actually not built for that screen. So
Hmm.
just something to consider about with your visuals. Your visuals matter. If your visuals, your visuals do matter. And if you want it to look as good as possible, maybe work with your production team or your execution teams to make sure that stuff looks the way that you want it to look. So, yeah. So loading into Keynote
Great.
and PowerPoint is a pain. But obviously there are uses to do that, and so if you need to do that, you can load those images in to the presentation. So let's go back, and the last one that we want to talk about was um, what I personally, if you're working between machines, there's some ways that you could potentially hand off your files. Now, there's one thing I should warn you about here. Let me change this to actually show you my desktop, not just my screen. Um, Sorry, stand by. Let's see. Share screen with Steve. Let's change this to display capture. I'm going to show you, and I think we touched on this earlier, but there is a way to export your files to another machine. So if the question that you're asking is, well, this is great, I can export one presentation, but what if I want to export my whole entire playlist over to someone? Like I have everything mapped out exactly how
Mm.
I did Sunday. I want to do that. Well, you can do the same thing. You can right click on the information, you can hit export, and it'll pop open a window. You'll make sure that media include media with presentations is selected, and you'll now hit export. And what you'll notice is this takes a little bit longer than the initial presentation because it's exporting all of your media. And you'll notice that it's significantly higher in size. This is now a 3.2 gigabyte file. And that's because it's everything in this presentation. The countdowns, the slides, the baptism video, everything's included in this presentation. So now you could create this presentation playlist, load that to a server, and send that to Sheik, and he could open it up on his end or to whoever you want on their end. So that's a way to export an actual playlist itself. If you're like, man, that's great, but that's still not what I want to do. I want to copy my whole entire library over to another machine, or I want to be able to open everything up. Go ahead.
How much space does that playlist take? How big is that file?
3.2 gigs.
Okay, so it's a little beefier.
Yeah, it's a little
Well,
beefier.
quite a bit beefier
Quite a
than
bit.
the
Quite a bit
original.
than two. Yeah, quite a bit than 2 megabytes. So
But
it's significantly higher, and you're gonna
you don't
have
have to
to
get
have you
you don't have to
you're gonna
get
have.
snarky.
I'm not snarky. I'm just saying it is significantly higher, and you will need to have. You don't want to be doing that 1 minute before service. Like that won't be
Right.
happening. You
But
know.
but also 3 gigs is not necessarily like a prohibitive si-
No,
size.
no, it's not
We've
prohibitive.
I mean we've done projects that are like 100 gigs.
No, it's not prohibitive. It's just not. It's just
Yeah.
not instant. So I just to say, like when you get into the
Sure.
gigs, you're now talking. There's a little bit of transfer time that's involved. When you get up to
Right.
to 50 gig files or 100 gig files, now you're talking. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit. So
Sure.
so that's the one way to transport the playlist itself. If you're like, well, man, that's great, but I got a new machine and I want to copy my library over. Or I want to copy everything over and I want to like recreate it on another machine. Well, there is a way to do that. So that's kind of like the last step that I want to show you today. So in your ProPresenter has everything stored for the program in the Documents tab. And so you can look in Documents. You'll see I have a lot. But the main thing is this ProPresenter folder is the one that ProPresenter always has. And the reason I say that is because you'll notice there's nothing after ProPresenter. So
Okay.
ProPresenter with two capital P's, that folder is what ProPresenter looks for in the documents to open up your file. So everything in your presentation, everything in your whole entire ProPresenter app is pulling from here. So I'll show you what that means. So size wise, this size folder is 33.98 gigabytes, 34 gigs.
Steve, I'm a little disappointed. I thought that your Pro Presenter would be bigger than that.
No, I trim it, dude. I keep it trimmed and lean and mean. That's the whole thing
Okay. All
about
right.
cleaning up.
All right. I
I
guess.
don't leave my backgrounds for years and years and make it huge. And so the reason that mine is clean like this, and here I'll tell you guys why, because it's a very good observation, Shake. The reason that mine is clean
Thank you.
like this is that I sync back and forth between the church every single week.
Okay.
So I have to keep it at a manageable size that I can sync quickly. If it grows to
Sure.
300 gigabytes, that will take a long time to transfer stuff and go back and forth. So
Almost as long
I don't
almost
want
as
it to be
long as the
huge.
time it took Cody Rhodes to finish his story.
Yeah,
Am I
right.
right?
Exactly right. So I don't want it to be massive. I want it to be
Yeah.
as lean as possible that still does a great job, that does excellent, but I don't want it to be super massive and prohibitive for me to be able to work on it on my machine and send it back to the different machines that we're touching. So
And I
this,
guess in that process takes a little bit of discipline then. If you're doing it every week, you need to do it consistently.
yeah,
How
I mean,
how how
I usually every quarter or every 6 months will clean out backgrounds. So like after Easter, I
yeah,
cleaned out all the Easter backgrounds and use it as an opportunity
sure.
to kind of like pare down the backgrounds that I want. So I've only got now, um, what I'm actually using, you know,
Sure. On a day to day,
and
on a week
there's
to week basis.
yeah, or what I want to keep for a week to week basis.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I mean, there's not a whole lot in there, but it's just what I need to have available. So the slides have been trimmed down. I don't have a whole bunch of countdowns. I've just got a couple videos. Like I've just cleaned some of that up. So that's what I would say is that like clean up your library after every major holiday. You know,
Yeah.
so that's what I would say is that's all I do is just clean up when I have the chance. Or sorry, or if you do a huge event, a major event and you know that you've loaded in some large files, go in and remove those files. So go into the ProPresenter folder, go to your media, go to your assets, and go delete those files. And
Or I guess if you're doing like funerals or something in your sanctuary or weddings.
yeah, if you want to delete that out afterward, you can delete that. So you can
Yeah.
go into this folder. The great thing about this folder is you can go into the media, go into assets, and you can sort by size, and you can see exactly what folder, what files are the biggest size on your ProPresenter library. So I can just sort through here and see what's taking the most file space. So if you're copying to a new machine, what you want to do is copy this folder. So I'm going to compress it, but I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to paste it to my desktop, and it'll paste the folder, 33 gigs. It'll copy that onto my desktop. It's going to take about a minute while we talk. And then once I have that copied, I will compress it, and then I'll load that onto whatever transfer method I'm going to use. Maybe you have Google Drive, you have OneDrive, you have Dropbox, whatever it is. You'll
Box.
load that file up, Box. You load that file into there. You wait however long you need to wait,
Mediafire.
and Mediafire, whatever transfer device you want to use, and then you load that file
Mhm.
onto that server. You wait for it to sync up. Once it's synced up, you share it to the other machine or the other person, and they download that file to their downloads. They hit uncompress and actually uncompress the folder, and then they copy that file structure, which they can go into on their desktop. They can go in and copy all these folders, Command C to copy, or right click and hit copy, and then they can go into their documents. They can go to their ProPresenter folder, and they can hit paste and then ask it to replace all the files. And once you do that and you replace all those files, you'll then find that your ProPresenter, once you restart, your ProPresenter library will look exactly like the other computer you just left. All of your themes,
Okay.
all of your labels, everything will transfer with that copy to another machine. So you'll see here, this thing I just copied is here now. I can compress it, and it'll compress the folder up, and then it's going to it says 2 hours. So we won't keep you there for that whole, but it'll compress the folder up. I'll load it into the online storage, and then I will sync it to another person and have them download it. So you'll see that's a little more labor intensive up front to do
Right.
something like that, but that's helpful if you're starting off. So if you're starting off with ProPresenter, or if you're integrating someone new to the team with another machine, getting them kind of to all be on the same spot from day one, that's helpful. But then once you get into the day to day, you use that folder structure and transferring files like we did. You can do that to make that work. So yeah,
Sure.
so
Yeah.
that's copying. I would always, like I said, the key of this is if you're exporting between ProPresenter to ProPresenter, use the bundle option, export as a bundle. If you're exporting as slides, images, then you're going to have to bring those images into whatever presentation software you want. It'll be
Right.
easier with if you're using an Easy Worship or a Song Show. They have a feature that would allow you to probably bring multiple images, just like ProPresenter does, so you can bring all those images in and have it. But PowerPoint and Keynote, maybe if you know any ways to kind of do what we're wanting to do, what we were trying to do, which is bring multiple slides in at one time from an image. Drop that in the comments below. Let us all know. But it doesn't look like you can necessarily do that, but you can really quickly bring in the images, make sure your presentation sized accordingly to how you have it in ProPresenter, and then bring those images in and copy through. And you can really quickly spend 15 minutes and probably create your presentation really quick back there. So, yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. So that's sharing presentations. So, man, so any other thoughts or questions or wise observations?
Um, I mean, nothing. I enjoyed, just kind of getting a look into the brain of the ProPresenter Poppy, like always.
The brain, the pinky and the brain.
That's right.
Oh man, cool. Well, it's a
Cool.
Monday. If you have any questions and you want to ask us what we should cover next week, we'll be back next week. Let us know. Sheik and I will be getting back from Columbia, South Carolina on Saturday, and so we'd love to. If there's any questions you have, we'd love to see those while we're traveling, and touch base next week on another opportunity to just serve you and discuss ProPresenter and how it can be effective at your church. If you have any questions, feel free to drop us a line, an email at propresenter@churchvisuals.com, and we'd love to help serve you in any way we can. Um, I just want you to also know that the team at ProPresenter is great. Had an issue recently that I got with them about, and we were able to solve the problem really quick and fast. So if you have questions about hardware issues or crashing issues and stuff, definitely reach out to ProPresenter. But if you have questions about how to effectively use ProPresenter or different ways to do things, or you're trying to accomplish something and you're kind of stuck, I would love to be a resource for you. So hope that's a benefit to you and your ministry. And yeah, any
You did it
parting
again.
more? Did it again. So
Man, just happy that Cody Rhodes has finished his story.
Cody Rhodes.
Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. Wow. What a moment. What a moment, Steve.
That's his name, is the American Nightmare?
Yeah. Because his father was the American Dream.
Mm,
Dusty Rhodes.
gotcha. Again, I'm
Yeah.
so far behind. I'm so lost. So
It's never too late, Steve. You're never too far gone.
uh, sweet. Well, y'all have a great
Cool.
week. Y'all have a blessed week. We're thankful for you and how you serve your church. And if there's anything that Sheik or I can do to serve you guys better, just let us know. We're for you. And have a good one.
Peace.